Yeah, good morning. Last session we discussed about how to transport data, how to create custom events. These custom events, how do we transport data from one component to another? These we will see with one more example. One more time I will explain that. For that we need three important options. One is we need input properties, we need output properties, right? And we need event emitter, right? Event emitter. So purpose already I explained. Input is for, it is a marker which is used for marking the properties so that they can accept input from another component, parent component. They can accept input from the parent component. To emit output as a value, we need output. So this is to accept input, and the second for emitting the value. How it emits the value? By using custom event. Custom events are designed by using event emitter. So these three are very important for transporting the data. Now let's see one example for that. Already I showed you a parent-child hierarchy. Now we will see another example, in real example, how it works, right? So for that, one simple concept, what we will do is, means how we can configure the events. We will try to create one simple example here like this. So we will take here a fake store. We will take fake store API. From the fake store API, we will design a screen. That screen is here. We want to display the products list. We want to display the products catalog actually. So here we will display the products catalog. That means products list, complete list will come here. This is one component we are having. And in this, we need a small navigation bar. Actually, this navigation bar is used for, this is filter. It is filter products. In these filter products, we can have various configurations, like we can give a drop down. In a drop down, user can select which category he wants. We can give a text box. In the text box, user can search for any product he wants. We can give some links like top trending. So more than, right, suppose less than 1,000 rupees store, like that. So when user clicks on them, it should display those details right side. But very important is, this is a separate component. Filter is a separate component. We can use this anywhere where we want to filter products. That means filtering products, we need to do several locations. If we need to do at several locations, then every time we need this filter, and I don't want to design this again and again. So we will create this as a component, and we will inject into any another component. So when you inject into any another component, here the challenge is how many categories are there, how many electronics, how many footwear. The products information is present right side. We have to display that here. That means the data must be shared from products catalog to product filter. That means we need to share data from this catalog and to the filter, and we need to send data from filter to products catalog. That means what filter will do? Filter will send the category name, and it will display the products that belong to the category. That is the basic approach we want to handle here. So this is the design we want to create. So now here products catalog is the parent component. This is the parent, and filter is the child. This is the child component. We need to transport data from parent to child and child to parent. And filter component must have custom event, so that on that event it can handle that particular functionality. So let's design this example. Syntactical example previous I explained already. In the syntactical example, we learned how to transport data from the parent to child. So from parent to child, how do we transport data? We saw parent component will send a message, it will come to child. Child component will send a message, it will go to the parent. Now this hierarchy we need to maintain in this example. Let's see how to implement that, handle it. So we need to create these things. So we can use the data manually, or we can take the data from any APIs, right? Already we have the fake store API, we will use it. So let's see. I will add two components here. Let's go to the components. Yeah, I'm adding two components here. ng generate component. One is products catalog. That is the component. Products catalog is the component. And let's create another component. So ng generate component. Another one is filter. Filter is another component. We have products component and filter component. Okay. So these are the two components we have, and our parent component is products catalog. So we will design the products catalog to come in startup. So let's go to app module, and we will keep this products catalog in the startup. In index, I am using products catalog. This we are keeping in the startup. Okay. That is the products catalog. Yeah. And in the UI, products catalog works. Now I need to design the products catalog. Let's go into products catalog HTML first. Here I am designing a container, and in this we will keep just a header. So as some fake store, right? Just keep a heading. Okay. Now below this, let's add a span, BI and BI cart. Okay. Next below this, this is BG, some danger, some text white and text center. Now below this we have a section. In this section we have a nav, that is the navigation, right? And we have the main content. We will divide the section into row, margin top 2, and this as call 3, and this as call 9. Okay. Now here I want to display all the products catalog, and left side I want to display the filter, browse products. Okay. This is the general interface. Browse products and products catalog. This is the content we have. Now in this, I will keep this class text center. Okay. Now this browse products, here we want to display the filter. And right side we want to display all products, right? Here we want to display the filter. That means how to access. Here we need to just use app filter. We are accessing the filter component and displaying. And you can see the filter works. Filter component is working there. We will design it. We will design that filter component. So right side, what we want, the products list. All the products information must be displayed there. So what we will do here is, right side products information must display. We will go to products component TS, and we will create a method here, load products, and load products fetch from fake store api.com/. So we will do one thing. Into this we will pass here the URL. Load products will use the URL as a string type. Okay. That URL we will decide dynamically, and then so it will get the response and return response into JSON. Now then it will get the response data, and we need to present the data into a collection. I will use products. It is an any type array. Into that array we will assign this. So this dot products is equal to, so data, whatever data comes, we will assign that. And this load products we have to call on initialization. This dot load products, into that URL is http://fakestoreapi.com/ we will use products. Initially we will display all products, and I need to present that in the catalog in a card style. So we will use class deflex and justify flex wrap, right? Yeah, flex wrap. Okay. And in this, I will keep style height as 500 pixel, and here I will give overflow as auto. Okay. In this, we will generate a card for every product. Just roughly a simple card, and this card style width 200 pixel. This card should repeat ng for let item of products. So we are repeating the products and image source here comes from item.image, right? Right. And class as card image top, and height as 200 or 150. Okay. And just I will put a class card header, and we will keep in that paragraph we will put item.title. Just these details are enough. Okay. And you can see the card header style height as 180 pixel. Okay. All these products information is ready. We have the products catalog, and we are displaying all the products data here, right? Now here all products information is present. Left side, we need to design the categories for these products. Actually, products belong to different categories. We have categories like electronics, categories like jewelry, and a category as of now I am not displaying, but let's display just for understanding sake. Here I will use class as card body or card footer. Just roughly here we will display item dot category. Actually, which category they belong to, they will display men's clothing, and we have jewelry, we have electronics, we have women's clothing, these. Okay. Now left side, I want to show those categories, and I want the count, how many electronics, how many men's, how many jewelry products are there. So understood the point? That means now I need to send the data. I need to send the data from this right side parent component to the left side child component. That means how many electronics are there right side available. We need to count how many electronics are there, and we need to send them. How many electronics, how many products. You see now left side, this is filter. Let's go to the filter component now. In the filter component HTML, here we are just designing a container and margin top to some. Here we will create an unordered list. Yeah, class as list unstyled, and in the list items here I will keep an anchor or button, anything you can design. So Now I will give a button looks like an anchor. I will keep a button, and in this button I will give the category names. Category names electronics. So here I will give the class as btn and btn link. I will keep like a link button. So same, I have to add others. All others are link buttons, electronics. So we have jewelry, and we have men's clothing, and we have women's clothing. Okay, these are the products we have, categories. So one more above I will give as here, one more I will give as all, right? That contains all. Now that is the design. The filter contains this design. You can see filter left side will be there. We have all electronics, jewelry, men's clothing, women's clothing. Now I want to display their count. How many electronics, how many jewelry, how many men's clothing are there? That means what we will do here, beside this, I have to put a count in a span. I want to display the count. Means how many products are there? All. Same I want for every category. Every category, electronics, jewelry, clothing, for every category I want the count there. So we want the count here. All electronics, jewelry, clothing, all this. How do we send the data here now? See, data is not left side. Data is present in right side component. Means products catalog. From here, we need to send the data to the child. Now let's go to the filter component here. In the filter component TS file, now we need the properties to accept data coming from parent. From parent data will come, so that we have to store here and display. That means here I need the input properties. Here I am using the input properties. We need to import input, and I need to declare some properties. What is it? Input, and it should be marked with input, and it is all count. All count. So here we are expecting this as a number, and initially it is set to 0. Similarly, we have another. So here we have like electronics count, and it is also a number, and it is 0. And we have another input. So this is jewelry count. Jewelry count, and it is a number, and I am setting 0. We have another one. I will give as men's count, and that is number and 0. We have another women's count, and that is also number and 0. Now these details I want to display here in the span. That means here I will use expression. Here we have all count. Here we will have an expression. This is electronics count. Electronics count. And here the expression, this is jewelry count. And here the men's count. So men's count and women's count. Initially all these are 0. We are displaying all the count, and you can see They are all 0 because they are designed like that, because they are not having data. Data is not present in filter. Data is present in your catalog. This data we need to send there now. That means first we need to count how many electronics are there. How many electronics, how many footwear, how many jewelry, and that count we need to pass to the child component. That means from the parent component we need to send those details. So what are the properties now? These are the properties: all count, electronics, jewelry, men's and women's. Let's go to the parent component here. In parent component, first how you will collect how many electronics are there, how many products are there. What we can do here, you can see products contains all the products information. That means this data contains all the categories. The data contains all the categories. What I will do here is I will create the properties locally, like all count. All count is a number, okay, number, and it is 0. So in the parent we have same electronics count, all count, electronics count, electronics count. This is also number and 0. Now similarly we have actually we need to store this information. Jewelry, yeah, jewelry count, and it is number. I'm giving same reasonable names, huh? So here men's count, it is also a number and it is initially 0. So women's count, that is also a number and initially 0. Now what happens here? Load products is collecting all products, means everything is present inside the data. Now into products we are defining, okay, fine. Now here I want to get all count. How to get all count? All count means total how many number of products are present. How do we get that? You are thinking how to get how many elements are present in an array. How to get how many elements are present in an array. What is the array which contains all the data? The array that contains all the data is this data, na? How to know how many are there? Data dot length. What data dot length will do? Data dot length. Data is there. You don't need to do on these products because data is coming here, na? So all the products data is in data. Data dot length. That means it will return total how many items are there. Now tell me how to get electronics count. Electronics is a field name, category. Category is not an array. First point from an array, because here data contains all products. In that I need to get only the products that are electronics. Then how? From an array I want to get only the products whose category is electronics. Then which method we have to use? How to search for any item in an array? How to search for any item in an array? We have find filter methods. Na? Array have find, array have filter. What is difference? Find will return the first occurrence value. Filter will return all. That means now what we have to do? So we need to use here simple data dot filter. Filter is a callback function. Callback function, I am using a simple lambda expression. That means what we have to do, we need to get every category from there. That means actually we need product implies, so product dot category, product dot category, product dot category. So product dot category is what? Product dot category, so is matching with whom? So it is matching with, we need an option. What is it? It is matching with electronics. Na? It is matching with electronics. That means it is matching with electronics is a category name. I have to use in lowercase. And important, we are filtering. That means we are reading every product and we are verifying is the product category is electronics. After verifying, we don't want those products. We want their length to store in that reference. In the reference. That means now what it have to do? It should get electronics count. Electronics count, which are matching with electronics. Here we have an option here. You see, any type, data type is not configured into it. That means what is the data type for that? It is any. That means actually here it is a reference. Product implicitly has any type. Parameter. Yeah, no problem here. In the data, it is array only. Na? Acha, here data is any type. Because here we are not displaying all the products. It is not a complete URL. Na? It is not yet decided. Data is not decided. So I will do one thing here. Actually, this filter is nothing but it uses a callback function generally. This callback function will get the product information, every product of what type, any type, right? And what it has to return, it should return product dot category, right? Product dot category. Product dot category is equal to, what is it? Electronics. Product category electronics dot length. It should get the length. That is the callback function we have to use. That means now what electronics count is doing? It is filtering the data whose category is matching with electronics. And we don't want all electronics products. We want only the electronic products whose length is 3 or 4 or 5. That means how to get all electronic products. For that we have to use filter. Up to this it will return all the electronic products. Now we don't want all the electronic products. We want only the products length. That means because this is a number. This is a number. If it is a number, then it is have to return a number. That means what categories dot length will do? That means it will return the number. How many electronic products are there? So this all count, electronics count, similarly we have to write for all. Now this count need to be displayed in our, you see, products catalog. You have app filter. App filter is having a property. What is the property? All count. Into the property we need to send a value. What is that value? All count. That is the value. That means from the parent component we are sending the data to the child component. That means it should get all count 20. That means from right side parent component we are sending the data to the child. It says 20. Now electronics count, we created another property to accept electronics count. Electronics count, it also comes from where? Electronics count. That means we have electronics count here. It should get the electronic count and display how many electronic products are there. So how many are there? 6 number. Some problem? We'll check what is the problem here. There is no problem. So this count is not working properly. Let's check here. What is the property name in filter? Electronics count. And in products catalog also, what is it? This length is not returning correctly. Let's check. Yeah. Let's check what it is returning. I will temporarily put here console.log this dot electronics count. It is having a problem. So the problem in course issue came here. That is the problem. Course issue. This is the course issue. Okay. Means data transporting issue is there. Course means API issue is there. That means it is a problem in accessing the data. Actually, not electronics length here. This entire function will return data. This length we have to send. Understand? That length we have to send. So that is the filter returns the data. That length we have to send. Fine. Okay. It is returning all the data. Right. So now how many electronics are there? 6. Now similarly, now what we have to do? We need to create another. What is it? This dot jewelry count. So this dot jewelry count is equal to data dot filter. We use a callback function. In this function, we have to access every product. Product is what type? Any. And return, what it should return? It should return product dot category matching with what? Jewelry. So matching with jewelry and its length, because this filter is returning total number of products, all products. Its length we are returning, right? That is the option. Similarly, we have another. Next, copy this, and we have another. This is men's count, and it is men's clothing. and its length. Similarly, we have another women's count. So women's count, and here we have to filter women's clothing. Okay, all these details are there. Now we need to keep the details here. Go to the component, and here all count, electronic count, and here we have jewelry count. Jewelry count comes from same jewelry count. That means we are transporting the data from there. So similarly, we have men's count, and it is coming from men's count. We have another property, women's count, and this is coming from women's count. So we are having all these properties in the tab filter, and into those properties we are sending the data. It is getting all the data here. So we are transporting the data from the parent component to the child. From the parent component to the child. So that means filter component don't have this data. So it have only the properties that can hold the data. Now from catalog component, we are transporting the data. By using which property we are transporting? By using input. So filter component have some input properties. These are going to handle it. Now comes the important part is when user selects electronics, only electronics must come. So jewelry, only jewelry must come. Now both are not in same component. If both are in same component, it is easy. You can write an event, through that event we can filter the data. But here, when user clicks this button, that category name must be sent right side. And right side, it should display only the products that belong to that category. That's what we need to implement here. That means we need to transport data now from child to the parent. That means when user clicks the button, we need to send category name. We need to send the category name, which category they selected. Is it electronics, jewelry, like that? So what to do now for that? Initially, so we will go to the component. In the filter component, we need to send the category name. Okay. So we will send the category name. I will create here category name is a string type. Initially it is empty. Now what I have to do is I need to send this category name outside the current filter component. Then we need a custom event which can emit that value. And how to create custom event? We have to use output and we have to use event emitter. Output and event emitter. So by using output, we are creating a custom event called filter clicked, right? Filter clicked is the event. How to configure it as an event? By implementing event emitter. What this event emitter have to emit? As of now, it should emit only string. You can emit any kind of data. So new event emitter, it is a string type. Memory is allocated for this. We need to configure that and define. So that means by using output, we can define this as a custom event. That means now we designed a custom event which will emit a string. But when it should emit and which string to emit, that we have to decide. When it should emit, when the button is clicked, it should emit. When those buttons are clicked, it should emit. What it should emit? That category name it should emit. That means here for all buttons you can write one event, one method. So what we will do is here on button click, right? On button click. On button click I am just giving. On button click we have to collect e.anyType. What we will do is in the filter component, for every button we can define a name. Button have a name. This is all. And here we have a name as electronics. Here we have a name as jewelry. And here we have a name as men's clothing. Yeah. And here we have a name as women's clothing. This is the name. Now when user clicks the button, this button should have a click event. On click I will write on button click. On button click we will pass $event, right? That means you can see here I am calling. All buttons should use the same method. All buttons must use the same method. But every button have a different name. That name we will collect. So that means on filter click, on button click, we will collect that name and we will emit this name, right? We will assign that into the category name. What we will do? So this dot category name, this dot category name is equal to e dot target dot name. E dot target not name is nothing but button name. That means we are accessing the button name. So here temporarily I will put an alert here. This dot category name. I'm just keeping an alert here. You see now I click on electronics. It should get electronics. We need to send this to the parent component. That means what we have to do here, we have to simply use this dot filter clicked dot emit. Filter clicked is a custom event. This custom event must emit. What it should emit? This dot category name. It should emit the category name. That means we have a custom event called filter clicked. This filter clicked will emit category name because it is string type. It will emit the category name. Okay. Now parent component should catch that. That means in the products catalog, here filter component have a event called filter clicked. That is the event. This is the custom event of filter component. On filter clicked, it should call a method. Into that it should pass the category name. That means I will give as filter changed, right? Filter changed is the function. This filter changed function, into that we will pass $event. $event will send the category name. Because you know currently this event is having only one property to emit. What is that property? Category name. That category name will be sent into the $event. $event is nothing but it is a string now. It contains only one value and that value is category name. We have to write this method and we have to collect the category name. So what we have to do now in the catalog, parent catalog. So here we have to write, what is it? The method name. The method name we are expecting is filter changed. So we have to write filter changed. Filter changed is expecting the category name as a string type, right? It is expecting the category name as a string. Now what we have to do here, category name is coming. What we have to do, we have to filter and display the products based on the category. You know the condition here, how to write. I am writing the condition. If category is equal to all, if category is equal to all, this dot load products, it should load http://fakestore.api.com/products. Otherwise, it should load only the category related products. That means this dot load products, it should load http://fakestore.api.com/products/category. Actually they have that API. You see they have an API, fake store API. What is it? Products. In that products category, in the category name, jewelry. Only jewelry products will come. They have that API already. So here what we do now, here category slash the category name. Category name is coming from the category you collected from the parameter. That means this is the category name you are collecting. That category name will be used for filtering. That means it should load the products that belong to that category. Now you see here, when I click on jewelry, that means this data must be sent to products, and products have to filter and display only the products that belong to the category. Some problem is happening here. Let's check what problem is happening here. Acha. So this is electronics coming fine. That is jewelry coming fine, right? And men's clothing is coming fine. Some problem. Okay, these jewelry products are coming. And electronic products are coming. Acha. Because we have all products count sending different. What is the name here? Category name. Let's go to the filter component. Spelling mistake where we use name, men's clothing, women's clothing. Where spelling mistake? App filter. Where it is here. Component HTML. On filter clicked event all count, electronics count, jewelry count, men's count. Huh? This is text. That is text, right? That is text. Where it is name. Here. Here we have the spelling problem. Okay. That is text. It can be anything. Text doesn't matter. Here we are missing it. Okay. Right. So electronics, only electronics is coming. But here one problem is this data is sent. Somewhere what data to be sent here, go to products catalog. all count. Acha, here what is happening is this products catalog, everything fine. Only the point is when you are clicking, it is initializing again. It is initializing again. That means what it is doing is it is loading this again. If it is loading again, so we used here URL. URL means what it is doing. It is changing all the products. It is changing all the products, right? That means this URL is changing for every button. For every button, URL is changing. That is the reason we used a common method now everywhere. We used a common method everywhere. So what should happen here? So instead of load products, you can write a fetch here, which can display all the data here. Here we can change. I will not use load products here. So because with common data problem will come here. See, here we are using URL. URL means what it is doing is when refresh again, it is using the current URL. This URL it is using. If uses that URL, only electronics, only products count will be updated into that. That means all will be only electronics. So we have to write separate here. Let's keep separate. We will separate this URL, right? So that means because this is load products and the common thing is used everywhere, we will not use common option. We will create one more method. What is it? That also should apply there. We will create a method called here as. Without creating that also we can manage. We will do one thing. Here we will use fetch on what is the URL? http://fakestoreapi.com/products/categories category slash, and here we will put the category name and dot then, and here we will get response and response.json. We will use then data, and this data we will apply this dot products is equal to whatever the data. This we are doing on this fetch option. So I click electronics, only electronics will come. No problem. Okay. Now it will display only electronics. I click on jewelry, then only jewelry products must come. Spelling wrong. The jewelry coming, right? It will display only this. If I click all, then it should display all. Again working fine. Only the point is why that problem came previously, because we are using the same request 2 times. And what happens? It is loading the data. and it is changing the main URL. The main URL is all products should come. That means here what it is doing, here into this data, whenever you call load products into this data, it is loading only electronics. If it is loading only electronics, now all will be electronics count. All will be electronics, all will be footwear, all will be fashion, like that category names will come. So we are creating two methods separate. One method to fetch all data, another method to fetch only the categories that belong to it, right? That means what we are doing, if user selects all, we are using load products and getting all the products. If user selects any category, only the category related, again we are fetching. Why again we are fetching and storing in products? Because this load products is already using lot of counts. Those counts are updated again with the latest data. Those counts should not affect. So here count should not affect, only the category related data should come. So because in the load products, what we are doing, we are using lot of count related query. So what happens now in this? Actually, what happened here? I hope you understood the scenario. Suppose I said all count, right? We have electronics. We have some jewelry. So what happens now? When you click all, we are using a method called load products. Load products, into that what we are passing an URL. This URL is related to all. That means it is related to all products. When user is clicking electronics, what I have done previously, same load products, but into that we are passing only electronics. No? We are passing only electronics. If I pass only electronics, then what will happen? All count will be how much? Is equal to electronics count. What about jewelry? In electronics there will be no jewelry, then it will be 0. What about men's clothing? In electronics there is no men's, that will be 0. That was happening previously. Right? That means this URL was changing. We don't want that URL to change. So we will create another request. Through that request, we can access the data and use it. So this is the example of fetching the data and transporting the data from parent to child. Here two hierarchies we designed. The two hierarchies nothing but from catalog we are sending data here. And from filter, we are sending the category name here, so that it can able to filter and display only the products that belong to that category. So here, which one is the parent one? Product catalog is the parent. And which one is the child? This browse products is the child. So we are transporting the data from parent to the child. So here, now one more you can try. What you do is, in the left panel, what you do is, here I kept buttons. In the left panel, I will give you a small task you try. In the left panel, below this list, I give another heading as select category. Now, you put a drop down. Understood? In the drop down, so we have option. We have all electronics and all. So I will give class as form select. Now what you do is, you have to do another work. Here show the list of all categories. And when user selects the category product should come here. Yeah. Right? So same, you have to write one more event. That means a component can have several events, right? Or you can use the same event, because here also we have to send only Here also we have to send only the category name. So below this, suppose here you add one more option, search category. And here you put a text box. Input type is equal to text. And here we have to define. So class form control. Okay. And in this, what you have to do is, and put a button here. Button is search. Now what should happen when user enters the name and click on search button? It should display only the category products. Understood? That means here you can use your general, this is an input group actually. We have an input group. This is class as input group. And in this we have span, and I will give as class BI and BI search. And here we have a class BTN and BTN warning. Okay. Now actually this is like a search button. That means you enter the category name and click the search button. Only the category product should come. Understood? So that means I just given this concept. That means now this is to test your events knowledge. That means here on drop down change, when user selects a category, that category related products should display. And after typing the product and click on search, it should display. One more work is there. If you can do that, then 100% guarantee that you will get a job on Angular. If you will do that task. The task means in this only, one more thing you have to do. What you have to do is, you put here, select categories. And here you put a ordered list or unordered list. Here we need a checkbox. Input type is equal to checkbox. In that we have all. So in that we have electronics, footwear, other details like electronics. So here we have like jewelry. So we have like men's. You put a checkbox here. Men's clothing, like this. Now here I want these are checkboxes. Now user selects electronics and men's, or those two should come. Understood? And user selects jewelry, that should be added. You remove this electronics, it should remove the electronics from there. And display only the products, this time multiple. Right? If you can do this, then good. Not good, it's great. If you can try this. And here remember, everything is through custom event. I just showed you link buttons. You can handle by using drop downs. You can handle with buttons. You can handle with radio and checkboxes. But checkboxes, little bit more brain you have to keep there. Because here we need to filter the products which belong to multiple categories. You need to try that. I hope you can do. Try. Right? So if you can do this, then you are good in transporting the data from one component to another. Right? Next, we will see the component life cycle now. Means how the components work. Means the complete life cycle of a component. With that, we can finish components part. Then we will learn about how to use predefined components. We call as Angular material. We are going to deal with that Angular material, where you will learn how to use ready-made components and work with them. Right? That we'll see next session. Right? Tomorrow we will discuss about the component lifecycle. Again, that is very big and important part for interviews, for experienced people. These two are important. Right? Tomorrow we'll continue. Try this. If you feel difficulty in understanding, one more time I will explain. Okay, na? Right? First try this. I will upload this example. Huh? Right.